The night I walked into that charity gala, I thought it was going to be one of the proudest moments of my life, being honored for saving lives, for mending hearts. But instead, it became the night mine broke in front of 200 people. Right there under the golden chandeliers, my ex-husband's new wife smirked, rubbed her pregnant belly, and said the words that silenced the entire room. Some women are just built different. Real women can give their husbands children. That moment changed everything. It wasn't just about heartbreak or betrayal. It was about being publicly shamed for something I couldn't control. The same woman who once envied my success tried to destroy me with my deepest pain, while the man who once promised forever stood beside her laughing. But the universe has a way of balancing things, and when karma showed up, it came in a way none of them could have ever imagined. Because months later, the same people who humiliated me were begging for my help. Their baby recessed life in my hands. And in that operating room, I learned that true strength isn't proving others wrong. It is choosing compassion when the world expects you to seek revenge. This is the story of how I saved their child, and healed my own heart in the process. You know that moment when everything inside you just stops, when someone says something so cruel, so sharp, that you can actually feel your heart crack open in your chest? I had that moment at a charity gala, right in front of 200 people. I watched her smirk while she rubbed her pregnant belly, locking eyes with me. Some women are just built different, she said. Real women can give their husbands children. My ex-husband laughed. Everyone in that ballroom turned to look at me, waiting for me to fall apart. But what they didn't know was that everything was about to change. Before we dive into this story, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell, because you won't believe how this unfolds. Drop a comment and tell me what you would have done in my shoes. Now let me take you back to where it all began. My name is Dr. Nicole Bennett, and for the past 15 years I've dedicated my life to saving hearts. Literally. I'm a cardiothoracic surgeon and I'm damn good at my job. I've operated on newborns whose hearts were the size of walnuts. I've held fragile human hearts in my hands and stitched them back together. But no one prepared me for the day my own heart would shatter in a way no surgery could repair. I met Christopher Hayes when I was 30. He was a charming real estate developer who built luxury properties across the state. Grand high-rises, elegant residential communities, places with fountains in the lobby, and doormen who remembered your name. He swept me off my feet with his confidence and drive. We got married after 2 years of dating, and for a while life felt perfect. We were that couple, the one people looked at and said, they've got it all figured out. But when we decided to start a family, everything began to fall apart. Month after month, the pregnancy tests came back negative. Doctor visits left us more frustrated and confused than before. We tried everything: fertility specialists, IVF treatments that cost more than most people's cars, special diets, acupuncture, you name it. 6 long, painful years of trying while everyone around us had babies. All we got were heartbreak and mounting medical bills. With every failed attempt, Christopher drifted further away. He stopped touching me the way he used to. The love in his eyes turned into something darker. Resentment, blame, like my body had betrayed him. The man who once told me I was brilliant and beautiful started making quiet jabs about how maybe we just weren't biologically compatible. He never said it outright, but I knew what he meant. He thought it was my fault. The divorce happened fast. 8 years of marriage ended one Tuesday morning when he slid the papers across our kitchen table. He didn't even look heartbroken, he just wanted out. Wanted to move on. Wanted to find someone who could give him what I apparently couldn't. 7 months later, I saw the announcement on social media. Christopher Hayes married to Lauren Phillips in a small ceremony in the Bahamas. She was stunning, blonde, 10 years younger than me, and if you looked closely, already pregnant in the photos. That's when it hit me. He'd probably been seeing her before the divorce was even finalized. I realized I'd spent 8 years with a man who saw me as defective the moment I couldn't give him a child. But I didn't crumble. I couldn't. My patients needed me, tiny babies whose parents trusted me with their world. I poured everything I had into my work. I published research papers, spoke at conferences, and built a name as one of the best pediatric heart surgeons in the country. I tried not to think about Christopher, his new wife, or the baby they were expecting. Then came the invitation to the National Heart Foundation Gala. I was being honored for my work and delivering the keynote speech. It was the recognition I'd spent my career chasing. I bought a beautiful burgundy gown, got my hair done, rehearsed my speech 100 times. I was ready until I walked into that ballroom and saw them. Christopher and Lauren entered like royalty. She glowed in a tight white dress that accentuated her very pregnant belly, 6, maybe 7 months along. He kept his hand on her back, guiding her gently the way he once touched me. I could feel the eyes in the room flick between them and me. Everyone knew our story, the infertility, the divorce, his quick remarriage. And now here we were, face to face, his new wife, radiant with the one thing I could never give him. I held my head high, smiled, made small talk with donors and colleagues, pretending my stomach wasn't twisted in knots. Then Lauren approached me during the cocktail hour. Her smile was sweet, but her eyes were ice cold. "Nicole," she said, her voice honeyed but dripping with poison. "It's so good to see you. You look wonderful, really." She rubbed her belly deliberately. "I hope this isn't too awkward for you. Christopher told me about your struggles. It must be hard watching other women do what you couldn't." The blood drained from my face. Around us, conversation stopped. People pretended not to listen, but every ear was tuned in. Christopher stood nearby, silent, looking uncomfortable but saying nothing. "Congratulations on your pregnancy," I said evenly. "I hope everything goes smoothly for you." "Oh, it will," she said with a smug laugh. "Some of us are just built for this, you know?" Christopher always wanted to be a father. I'm so glad I could give him that gift. The emphasis on "I" cut like a knife. I excused myself before I said something I'd regret. But she wasn't done. During dinner, Lauren made sure everyone at our table heard about her pregnancy, the nursery, the baby names, how natural it all was, how they hadn't even been trying. Christopher laughed along, his hand always on her shoulder or belly. Then came the toasts. People spoke about the foundation, the lives saved, the importance of funding pediatric research. And then Lauren stood up. She wasn't scheduled to speak, but she did anyway, raising a glass of sparkling cider. "I just want to say how blessed I feel tonight," she began, her voice ringing across the room, "to celebrate the miracle of life and family." Then she looked directly at me. "It takes a special kind of woman to build a complete family, to give the man you love everything he needs. I'm so grateful to be that kind of woman. To all the real women here who know what truly matters, this toast is for you." The room fell silent. I could hear my heart pounding. Christopher smiled and raised his glass as if she'd said something profound instead of cruel. People looked uneasy, but no one spoke. No one defended me. I stood up, grabbed my clutch, and walked out with whatever dignity I had left. 200 eyes followed me. Whispers trailed behind. I made it to the bathroom before the tears came. I cried like I hadn't since the divorce, not just because of the baby, but because of the humiliation. She had turned my pain into her entertainment, and he had let her. When I finally composed myself and stepped out, Dr. Bernard Foster, my mentor and the chief of pediatrics, was waiting. He didn't say a word, just hugged me while I broke down again. "She's cruel," he said quietly. "And he's a fool. But you, Nicole, you're brilliant and strong. You don't need either of them to validate your worth." That night I tried to forget, but the universe had other plans. Someone had recorded Lauren's toast and posted it online. By morning it was everywhere. Billionaire's wife shames ex over infertility. Cruel toast goes viral. Outrage flooded social media. Comments poured in. Support for me, condemnation for her. Infertility shaming was trending. My phone wouldn't stop buzzing, patients, colleagues, reporters. And then 3 days after the gala, Christopher called. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. "What do you want, Christopher?" His voice was trembling. "Nicole, I need your help. It's the baby. Lauren's baby. There's something wrong with his heart." My stomach dropped. "What do you mean?" "The ultrasound showed abnormalities. They said it's serious, a defect. We need a specialist. You're one of the best. Please, I know I have no right to ask, but he's my son." Every part of me wanted to hang up, to let him find someone else, to let karma do its job. But I thought of that innocent baby, and I couldn't. "Send me the medical files," I said. "I'll take a look." Within an hour, the files came through. Hypoplastic left heart syndrome. The baby's left ventricle was severely underdeveloped. Without surgery right after birth, he wouldn't survive. It was complex, delicate, the kind of case that required the most precise hands. And whether I liked it or not, I was one of the few surgeons trained for it. I called Christopher back. I'll take the case, but we do this my way. Every medical decision goes through me. No interference. You both need to understand this will take multiple surgeries and years of care. Anything, he said quickly. Whatever you need. The first consultation with Lauren was tense. She was 8 months pregnant, and the confidence she once flaunted was gone. She looked terrified. Christopher sat beside her, holding her hand. For a moment I saw them not as the people who hurt me, but as scared parents. I explained the diagnosis, the surgery, the risks, the prognosis. Lauren cried the whole time. Then when Christopher stepped out to take a call, she broke down completely. I'm so sorry, she sobbed, for what I said at the gala. For everything. I was cruel and horrible, and now karma's punishing me through my baby. This isn't karma, I said gently. It's a medical condition. Your baby is sick, but he can be helped. That has nothing to do with your behavior. She looked at me with red, swollen eyes. I need to tell you something. Something Christopher doesn't know. She took a shaky breath. I didn't get pregnant naturally. I used IVF with a donor egg. I have endometriosis. I've known since I was 23 that pregnancy would be nearly impossible. When I met Christopher and heard about your struggles, I saw an opportunity. I did IVF in secret. I let him think I was naturally fertile, everything you weren't. I threw it in your face because I was jealous and insecure and stupid. I sat back, processing. Does he know any of this? She shook her head. I planned to tell him, but then you got honored at the gala. Everyone was praising you, and I felt small, like I'd always live in your shadow. So I wanted to hurt you the way I hurt inside. And now my baby is sick, and I feel like I deserve it. You don't deserve this, I said quietly, and neither does your son. But you need to tell Christopher the truth, especially because there's something else we need to talk about. Over the next week, I ran genetic tests and reviewed Christopher's records. The results made everything click. Christopher had a mild genetic condition that affected sperm quality and motility. Not total infertility, but severe enough to make natural conception nearly impossible. All those years of blame, and it had been him all along. I called him in alone, handed him the results, and watched his face pale. This can't be right, he stammered. Lauren got pregnant. We have proof. Lauren used donor eggs, I said. She told me. And based on your condition, I'd recommend testing the baby after birth. There's a good chance donor sperm was used too. He looked shattered. All those years, he whispered. All those years you blamed me, I said. You made me feel worthless because my body couldn't do what you wanted. But it was never me, Christopher. It was you, and your ego. 2 weeks later, Lauren went into early labor. Emergency C-section. A baby boy born at 36 weeks, his heart condition worse than expected. I scrubbed in for surgery. 9 hours. Every second mattered. There were moments I thought we'd lose him, but we didn't. The surgery succeeded. When I walked into the recovery room, Lauren burst into tears. Is he? He's stable, I said softly. He'll need more surgeries as he grows, but he's going to make it. She cried harder, reaching for my hand. Thank you. After everything I did to you, you saved my baby. Why? I didn't do it for you, I said gently. I did it because that child deserved a chance. That's who I am. Christopher tried to apologize too, tried to explain, to make excuses. I didn't want to hear them. But 3 days later, I called them both in when the baby was stronger. I showed them the genetic results. Watched their faces as they realized what it meant. You spent years making me feel like I wasn't enough, I said to Christopher. You let her mock me for something that was your fault all along. I hope one day your son asks about this, and I hope you tell him the truth. That you blamed an innocent woman for your own inadequacy. I walked out of that room and didn't look back. That was 6 months ago. Baby Hayes is thriving now, growing stronger every day. Lauren sends me updates and pictures sometimes. I respond politely, briefly. Christopher hasn't reached out since. I heard they're in therapy, trying to untangle the lies. As for me, I'm seeing someone new, Dr. Bernard Foster. What started as mentorship turned into something beautiful, something grounded in respect. 3 months ago, I adopted a baby girl. Her name is Grace, and she's perfect, my choice, my timing, my joy. That night at the gala, Lauren tried to break me by mocking what she thought was my failure. But here's what I learned. My worth was never tied to my womb. Christopher spent years blaming me for something that was his all along. and the universe made sure he learned that lesson. Lauren became what she feared most and realized we weren't so different. Two women trying to prove our worth in a world that measures us by motherhood. I saved their son, not because they deserved it, but because he did. And in doing so, I saved myself. I proved that my compassion, skill, and humanity were stronger than anyone's cruelty. That I could face my lowest moment and still choose grace. The universe has a strange way of teaching lessons. Sometimes the people who hurt you most end up needing you most, and how you respond defines who you are. If this story touched you, hit that like button and subscribe for more real-life stories proving that living well is the best revenge. Share it with someone who needs to remember that their worth isn't defined by cruelty or expectation. Tell me in the comments, would you have taken the case? Was I wrong to reveal Christopher's condition? Would you have walked away? I read every comment and I want to hear from you, and remember, whatever pain someone causes you, your value never decreases because they couldn't see it. Keep your head up and your crown straight. You are worth more than their limited perception. Until next time, this is Dr. Nicole Bennett reminding you that the best revenge is becoming so fulfilled, so happy, and so successful that revenge isn't even necessary. Peace.